everybody, tonight we're debating flat Earth versus globe Earth, and we are starting right now. Ladies and gentlemen, thrilled to have you here for another epic debate. This is going to be a fun one, folks. I want to let you know, if it's your first time here at Modern Day Debate, we are a third-party neutral channel, and our goal is to give everyone their fair shot to make their case on an equal playing field on topics of science, religion, and politics. And so, no matter how controversial your view is, no matter what walk of life you come from, we hope you know that you are very welcome here. We're excited to have you at this, you could say, melting pot of ideas. And so, what we have tonight is going to be a fun one. Two gentlemen who have a history. It's going to make it extra exciting. However, I promise a very active role in moderating tonight to be sure that everybody, especially in these, you could say, adventurous or spontaneous events, that everybody still, even then, gets their fair shot. And so I want to let you know first, for tonight, we're going to have a fairly structured format. Namely, we are going to have speeches from each speaker, followed by 10 minutes of open discussion, and then speeches from each speaker again, but flipped, followed by open discussion. And we're going to keep going back and forth like that until the end. So if you happen to have a question, please fire that question into the live chat. I will be looking for each and every one to add to that Q&A list. If you tag me with @ModernDayDebate, it makes it easier for me to get every single question in that list. So, with that, very excited to introduce our guests, as these are, you could say, well known in the flat Earth versus globe Earth debate world. We are thrilled to have you here, gentlemen. We will start with MCToon. Thrilled to have you back. And MC, if you could just let people know what they could expect to find at your link. I want to let you know, folks, both of our speakers are linked in the description, so if you want to hear more from them, you can. And so with that, MC, thrilled to have you. And what can people expect to find at your link?
Well, I have debates every week, flat Earth debates often, 5G debates, and I do videos maybe once a week, maybe not quite once a week, but it's glad to be here. I'm glad to be here, James. Thanks a lot for having me.
Absolutely, our pleasure. And we will kick it over to Kris, aka iPhone. So, Kris, thrilled to have you. First time here. Thanks so much for joining us. If you want to share what people can find at your link, glad to have you with us.
Yeah. Did you call me what? I hope?
iPhone, because on your Zoom Zoom
yeah,
window.
Okay. Oh, they are. No, yeah. So my, I guess my stage name would be Write the Hand. So yeah, just Write the Hand at YouTube.com or whatnot. Yeah, and if you head over there, you know, I believe a lot of what they tell you is, you know, a lie to manipulate you, like, you know, fake UFC fights, you know, fixed Super Bowls, you know, stuff like that. Just, you know, out there kind of stuff, and also some philosophy on like life and what you should do if it throws you a curveball.
You got it. So this is going to be a fun one, folks. We're going to get the ball rolling. As I mentioned, this will be fairly structured, so we'll be starting with these basically 5-minute presentations. Interlocutor 1 will be going first. This will be uninterrupted, and then interlocutor 2 will go for their 5-minute rebuttal, and then 10 minutes of open discussion. Just to be sure, I actually don't know if we decided who interlocutor 1 would be. So that's up to you, gentlemen, if either of you have a preference on who goes first.
I'll open.
You bet. With that, Kris, the floor is all yours.
All right. So basically the idea is that we are all looking at the same thing, right? Nobody has any special vision where they can see the sun or see the earth in any capacity greater than the next person, right? So when we're at the beach, we're both looking at the sunset. Now, the big question comes down to, you know, why does it do what it does? Now, on the ball earth side, right, since in my my claim will be that they don't have the physical world to back up their claims, right? So when you look outside in the real world, you'll see a flat area, okay? It's topographically, you know, there might be some hills and valleys, but you're going to see an orientation of chess pieces on a chessboard, right? That is how everything operates. Things are going over your head if they're planes or birds. So that's what it looks like. Now they'll say, now this is where they start building with words, okay? So they're going to say, oh yes, it does look flat, right? Well, you got to give you that because it's there. They can't lie about what we see. So they'll say, yes, it is flat, but now this is where they start with the story. Now I could care less what the but is. I'll fill it in for you and they'll say, well, it's because of how big and large the ball is. And that's great, but that's nothing more than verbiage. That's just words. You're not proving that statement. That is just your personal belief. So, and one of the things they'll back this up with is more verbiage terms like evidence, okay? Evidence, when you look at it, is not a particular thing. You don't, if you say, I have evidence, okay, you don't have anything yet. You still need to present what you have. And Toon is going, you'll hear him, I have evidence, predictions, and math. These are a lot of the words that they use to build their model. And the one I'd like to start with would be the evidence, because like I said, it's not a thing that you hold, right? It's you see something and then you have a personal belief which you hold as evidence. Like a sunset, you would see the sunset and they'll say it's because the ground is spinning backwards. And I'll say it's because the sun is moving, right? We're both seeing the same thing. It's just one person is having a different belief on what they see.
You got it. Thank you for that. We will kick it over to MCToon. The floor is all yours.
That was your presentation of evidence. Interesting. So you said you don't know what evidence is. And I don't doubt that at all. Well, here's the thing. The Earth is a physical object. It can be measured. It has been measured. The burden of evidence has been met and published. I have citations to this evidence on my website, mctoon.net/burden. Being that the evidence for the globe has been presented for centuries, the burden of evidence is on the person claiming otherwise. So my claim is flat Earth is a religion for uneducated science deniers. That's my position. And Kris will confirm this position over and over tonight. I'm going to force him to do that. He'll make it very clear he denies science. He will make claims about what he will or will not accept as evidence. I don't care about his standard of evidence. I care about the scientific standard of evidence. He may try to assert things about science like science proves things, or all experiments must prove the cause of something, or you didn't do it yourself, or that's just words on paper. All these are simply science denialism. When Kris hides behind these things, he confirms he's a science denier and confirms my position. So science is not refuted through denialism. It's refuted with better science. So it's worth addressing just quickly the idea of scientific proof. Proof is absolute. It excludes all other possibilities, thus making it untestable. Science is testable. That's why there is no such thing as scientific proof. Karl Popper said the empirical evidence of objective science has nothing absolute about it. So everything in science is available to be tested, disproven, falsified. Pseudoscience makes claims of proofs. So Kris loves to demand that someone prove something. I don't care for your demands, Kris. This is simply shifting the burden. That's not science. It's just fabricated excuses pulled from other science deniers as attempts to reject evidence because science totally destroys the flat Earth idea. So I'll be using the description of science as covered in many resources like the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, Understanding Science from Berkeley, and the writings of Karl Popper. I can show citations for anything necessary. Any claims Kris makes about science will never be backed up with citations because he's attempting to bastardize science to ignore evidence. This is not a debate about science. That's already happened. Kris will simply reject evidence. This confirms he's a science denier. So I don't know if that's about 5 minutes. Basically, Kris presented nothing. So thank you very much for that. It was an easy win. I'll just put down 1 point for me. There you go. Done.
You bet. We will kick it into open discussion now for 10 minutes. The floor is all yours, gentlemen.
Okay. So I heard him talk a lot about what he has with evidence, right? He's got these. So can you define evidence for me then, MCToon?
No, it's already been defined by science. I'm not going to play that game. Science has been decided. Science is the definition of science has already been explored. This isn't a discussion or a debate on what is science. So evidence is well known. If you just want to deny evidence, thank you for that. You make my point.
Okay. So you said science established what evidence is?
Yes. So feel free to cite anything that you disagree with that that I've already presented. So you can look at the Stanford philosophy of
I have something I disagree with.
Anyway, so my favorite though is the Berkeley Understanding Science, their website. You can just go there.
Who authored that? So, do you know who authored that citation you're about to give me? Do you know the name of the person?
Yeah.
Well, there has to be a.
One sec, just to be sure that, we can let you ask that question. Kris, I do want to just be sure that MCToon finished what he's saying. I think he was maybe mid-sentence.
Oh, sorry.
It's from Berkeley. I can, here we go. I will put right here.
How about
this? I can't paste. Oh, I can paste it. There it is. I pasted the link to the citation. So
can we agree a person wrote that?
Sure.
Okay, so would you say that person has the absolute truth?
I'm not debating science. We're debating the shape of the Earth. So, do you have evidence? Since you presented no evidence at all. You just basically declared that you're an uneducated science denier by saying you don't even understand what evidence is. Thank you for that. You've made my point.
I was trying to establish terms.
Too bad. Don't care.
So you don't.
I don't care about your misunderstanding of science. It matters nothing to me. You are just uneducated science denier. All you have is the ability to deny science, which proves my point.
Okay. Can you define what science is so I know what I'm denying?
I put it in the link there. In general, science is using logic, reason, deductive and inductive reasoning to understand the nature of the universe.
Is logic unique to individuals?
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, hold on. So you're going to tell...
Here's the deal. You have no evidence. All you're trying to do is deny science. I don't give a damn. Do you have evidence for your position? Go.
Okay. So you said that science had established something. Then we got to the fact that there is an individual who determined what science was. And then you said science is logic. And I'm saying if science is logic and logic is unique to each individual, like to me, people upside down under my feet on a ball in space is not logical, okay? Because I see the only orientation we've ever seen in this world is pieces on top of a chessboard. We've never seen anybody off to the side of Earth on a 45.
Okay, so do you have any evidence?
I wasn't done.
Yes, excellent. No evidence. Thank you.
Please let me finish. So you were saying that, let me reiterate. So you were saying that science is logic, and that science, which is logic, proved what you said. But then we're saying, if to me,
hold on a second. I never said prove.
One sec. I promise we can let you question or address that. Let's just let him finish this last sentence, and then we'll come back to that.
Okay. So you're saying that science established with logic what evidence is, and we're going well. And now I'm asking you. Logic is unique to an individual. Now, my logic says that a ball in nothing is not logical because I never see people upside down under my feet. I never see the sky under my feet. I never see anything under my feet except the ground, which would be like pieces on a chessboard. Now, you're going to tell me that it's logical to think that people are upside down under my feet, and I'm just going to say I don't think that's logical. So we need to firmly establish what the nature of logic and reality is before we have this debate.
No.
Okay, so you don't want to establish what logic is, so you can just assert your religious beliefs.
This is not a debate about science. This is a debate about the shape of the Earth, for which you've presented nothing.
You're using science to prove the shape of the Earth, and I'm trying to show you that
I'm not using science to prove anything,
using science
Kris.
to establish.
I already talked about
1 second.
proof.
Okay,
Kris.
so don't get me wrong, I hate to kind of push the debate in a particular direction topic-wise, but just because it's true we could debate things like how do you define logic, rationality, science, any one of those particular things, because I know they are indirectly related, but this might be an opportunity to kind of steer back to the more empirical evidence.
Okay, and so let me try to establish, when you say empirical evidence, okay, I'm going to say that when you go outside and see the orientation of people like pieces on a chessboard, that's reality. It doesn't get any more empirical than that. Now, he's going to use this word evidence and science and these logics, right? These are all his personal beliefs. And he's going to say, with this logic and my personal beliefs, therefore, despite what we see in reality with empirical nature, it is flipped and there's people upside down under my feet. And that's illogical. So this is at the heart of the issue of what is logic, what is not logic. Did he take off?
I'm still waiting for you to present evidence here.
Okay, but we haven't established what evidence is.
Yeah, I don't care for your I don't care for your denialism. That's all you have is denialism.
I'm not denying.
I don't care.
Okay, so
that's how am I supposed
How am I supposed to present evidence if we won't agree what evidence is?
Yeah, it's been established. Maybe you could get educated on what science does. Like I said, Berkeley has some fantastic stuff on their website that explains things. You could read the works of Karl Popper. Maybe go back to Francis Bacon, see what he had to write about it. But I don't care about those things right now. Science does not prove things, and you already got that wrong, right? I'm not claiming science proves things. Science is great at disproving things and falsifying things, but it doesn't prove things. That's pseudoscience that claims proofs. It doesn't. So you've presented nothing at all other than you don't understand science. Got it. You supported my point that flat Earth is a religion for uneducated science deniers.
Okay, you've called me a science denier 15 times, but you have never you said, hang on, and you said science is logic, right?
I did not say that.
Okay, so then what is science? Can you define it again? Because I've taken notes, and you said science was logic. So that's
logic was one of the words I used in it. Your notes are a little terse, I suppose, right?
Okay, so before we get to the other words, right, let's establish what logic, can we agree what logic is?
Logic is used in science. But here's the thing. I am not here to debate science. I am here to present evidence and examine evidence, and you are here to run away and never present evidence. You are here to be my puppet, to deny science and show that you're uneducated.
Okay, I'm trying to establish what evidence and science is.
Yeah, so that's your fault for not being educated enough to understand these things already.
Okay, let me finish. So if you're you know all of this, right? You have all of these facts and all of this stuff behind you. So it should be very easy for you to articulate what science is, how it works, and not just say, no, shut up, listen, it does this, it's proven it, now you disprove it. Because if you don't want to have the conversation, it seems to me like you're running away from the conversation of what is evidence and what is
Absolutely,
science.
I am not here for that conversation.
Okay, so because you don't know what it is, so you can't have
because
it.
Because I do know what it is and you don't.
So then what is it?
You're an uneducated science denier.
Okay, so then I will
say what know what these things are. You've not done any of the background work on it.
I hate to kind of push the topic, but just because I do agree.
Here, let me help you out.
Hold on one second. I do agree it's indirectly related. It's important, but at the same time, we absolutely have to shift this over to some kind of examples of
that's what I was about to do.
Whatever way in which you want to argue for, even if it was a philosophical argument for a flat Earth or a globe Earth, but we have to start making arguments for one way or the other. Okay, the nature of evidence is something that's like kind of epistemology.
Okay, so when we go outside and observe reality, we observe it like pieces on a chessboard. Would you agree to that, MCToon?
No.
No, so you don't agree that when we're outside, we see everything on top of a flat surface?
I see everything on top of a sphere is what we see.
Okay, so you can see the entirety of Earth when you're standing on top of it?
No.
So then how can you see it as a sphere?
Because it's measured as a sphere.
But you said you saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you see it, or are you believing?
Let's continue to show that you don't accept science. Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Okay, but we were just He said use empirical. Now I said I see it, and I can prove that I see the flatness of like a chessboard with pieces on top of it. Now you rebutted with. No, hang on, I'm not done. Let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah, I know measurements. Let me finish.
Hate that.
So I said the most empirical thing you can do is the observation of, right? So if you're trying to establish reality, you wouldn't close your eyes and tell me a story, because that's not real. That's what you make up. So if you want to get what's real, the Earth, right, you would go to outside, and where we see it as a flat plane, pieces on a chessboard. Now your rebuttal to that was, no, I see it as a sphere, right? Then I said, oh, do you see the whole thing? And you said no. And then I was like, well, how can you see it as a sphere? Then you said measurements. So we agree you didn't see it as a sphere.
I've seen pictures of it as a sphere.
Okay, but I've seen pictures of Bigfoot. Does that mean Bigfoot's real?
Well, did the people?
So I'm not asking you what pictures you saw.
Was that tested and confirmed? No, I don't think so. So,
okay.
So, yeah. Okay.
How did you test the picture?
So, all right. Do you have any evidence? Do you have any evidence?
Oh, well,
No,
the real world. That you're now leaving the real world.
Good, excellent.
I see hold on. So the real world, which is flat and pieces on a chessboard, and your rebuttal was, I've seen it as a ball in pictures.
You've asserted that it's flat. It's not.
No, we see it. It's observably flat. I said it's topographically. I said the orientation is like pieces on a chessboard, which could never make a ball. Now you're saying that there are people upside down under our feet. Now that is a bold claim, and you haven't established that. You're just telling me you believe it.
Yeah, it's been established.
Okay, so where did you, in reality, observe the Earth as a ball to establish that there are people upside down under your feet?
Yeah, it's been established. MCToon.net/burden. The evidence has been presented.
Okay, what was the evidence that you presented?
Got about 30 seconds until we go back into those 5-minute sections.
Okay.
Okay, so, what was the evidence you presented that proved that there's people upside down under my feet?
Measurements of the radius of
measurements
the Earth.
Of what? What did you measure?
Hold on, we have to let him finish the sentence.
Okay, so the radius of the Earth. So you have to, before you can measure the radius, you have to measure it as a complete ball, right?
I'm sorry that you don't understand these things.
Okay, can you get the radius of a circle or sphere that you don't know how big the circle or sphere is?
Just a second here.
We're about to that time where we would transition back into the 5-minute speeches.
Okay. I'd like to go first again if I could.
MCToon, we do have it where it's flipped now, where the interlocutor number 2 would go first, and then you'd be going first in the following set, Kris.
Okay, that's fine.
Kris, MCToon, if you'd like to have a chance to answer the question that was asked to you last, and give you a chance.
I just need a minute. Hold on.
Okay. Want to remind you folks, if you have not heard, Modern Day Debate has invaded the podcast world. So this is in addition to the YouTube channel. If you like listening to debates, we are available on all favorite podcast apps. If you can't find us on a podcast app that you love, let us know. We'll work hard to get on that podcast app for you. And want to also let you know, I forgot to mention at the start, for questions, Super Chat is also an option. And in that case, we'll read all the Super Chats first, and it'll give you the opportunity, if you'd like, to make a comment toward one of the speakers during the question and answer, to which they, of course, would get a chance to respond to. And we ask that you just be your regular friendly selves for all of our questions or Super Chats and all of that good stuff. So with that, I don't want to take any more of your time, MCToon. If you're ready, the floor is all yours. Otherwise, I can keep going with housekeeping type stuff for the channel.
All right, I'm sorry. My wife was had to say something. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Let's see. I'm going to present, so give me a second here to set this up. All right, you got that?
We do now.
All right, so I'm going to start with Euclid's Elements, Book 3. Let me get here. So, and we can see there, if a straight line touches a circle and a straight line is joined from the center to the point of contact, the straight line will be so joined will be perpendicular to the tangent. That's a little bit of a complicated way, but of saying it. But it's part of geometry, and I'll just point out the line FC, and see that is perpendicular to the tangent line at that point, right? All points on the circle have the same property. So in Euclidean geometry, on a flat plane, right, take a line like ABC, which is a circle. If all lines perpendicular to that circle intersect at a point, it describes a circle, right? So it's just the how you know that you have a circle, right? So the flat Earth hypothesis here would then be, so we're going to talk about the equinox, which just happened here on Tuesday for many people, maybe Monday or Wednesday, depending on where you are on the Earth here. So a line of longitude is a line, right? It's a north-south line. Longitude and latitude have been used for centuries. Kris, feel free to deny this or display ignorance if you wish to support my primary claim that flat earthers are uneducated science deniers. So here we have just an example. There's no particular shape to that I've chosen at this point, but we see that on the equator, on the 20 degrees east longitude, the sun rises due east, right? Now what about other places, like maybe in Europe? Oh yes, it also rises due east. Well, that requires now that we have two suns. And if you look at other places, every place along a single line of longitude, you see the sunrise due east. So if the Earth is flat, well, you certainly can't have a straight up and down or a straight longitude line. It doesn't work. There, in fact, is just one line, one shape that works. And that's this one here, where the entire line of longitude is part of an arc. That's the only way, and that's according to Euclid's book 3, proposition 18. It is the only flat Earth map that satisfies the observation for a sample longitude of 20 degrees east. The thing is, all lines of longitude cannot simultaneously be appropriately shaped to satisfy this requirement. Therefore, the flat Earth hypothesis is falsified. So, Kris, that's how you do math, right? Oh. Or science.
We must.
So, sorry.
I'll give you a chance to finish answering the question, and then we've got to jump back into those 5-minute speeches.
Okay. Yep. So, the mirror image for the sunset. The sunset is just a mirror image. It has to be this. This is the only flat Earth map possible to satisfy observation for just one line of longitude. And here's the crazy thing. That requires that the entire shape of the line of longitude shift over the course of 12 hours. Of course, this is not observed. Therefore, the flat Earth hypothesis is again falsified.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Kick it back.
Yeah. Well, and sorry, just so you know, the globe Earth, just real quick, a line of longitude describes half a circle on a globe. On sunrise, the equinox, this half circle is orthogonal to the line from the Earth to the sun. And on sunrise, all points on this half circle must have a 90-degree azimuth to the sun. This is observed. Therefore, the globe Earth hypothesis is confirmed.
Gotcha. Thanks. And we will jump into those 5-minute sections. So I promise we'll give you a chance to respond to MCToon in the next 10-minute open discussion, Kris. Otherwise, you could as well in your 5-minute statement. That'll come right after MCToon's 5-minute statement, which we are going
That was my 5-minute
statement. Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Now it's Kris's turn to rebut what
I'm so sorry I rushed you. I thought that you were still answering that single question. Okay. Well, go ahead. So, Kris...
I'm sorry. I missed the question. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Kris will give you a shot, and the floor is all yours. We're all good.
Yeah, so of course he missed the question because it was, can you establish the radius without the size of the circle or sphere? And he was saying, we have the radius. It was like, okay, we have the radius. I was like, well, if you don't know how big the circle or sphere is, then you only have a distance. It doesn't become a radius until you have established that the Earth or the entire thing you're measuring is a ball. So that's for that. Now, he's saying a lot of everything he used, right, was it was an observation. He stood on the Earth, he looked at the sun, and that was all he did. That was the only empirical thing he did. Then he went to his brain, right, and was going, well, I saw the sun from here. Somebody said they see it from here. That means it must be a ball, can't be flat. He never established that. He never proved it. He never displayed that, because the only thing he did was watch a sunset. Then he's going to use math, right? He's going to say, oh, I used math, right, through the angles and this and that. The first problem that he has with that, and I'm glad he brought it up, is that math has no generally accepted definition. There is no, if you Googled the definition of math, which I'm sure he loves to do, you will get mathematics. Now, it will also say that there is no official definition of mathematics, and it is actually an ongoing philosophical debate. Now, how can you use something that is a philosophical debate to prove the Earth's shape? Now, when we get really down to the nitty-gritty, he brought up Euclid's postulates. I'm glad he did that, because we actually cut through a lot of the BS and get to the nitty-gritty. He's going to use logic. That's what a postulate is. It's a logical axiom, okay? And then the entirety of geometry, which is actually what he's using, not math, he's using geometry, is based on if you go to the first postulate, Toon, you uneducated, it's that a straight line is you connect 2 points with the shortest distance, which would be a straight line. But in your mental world, you curve everything. So you can't use Euclidean's postulates to try and prove your ball Earth. You have to use non-Euclidean, which isn't even a thing. So I would like you to tell me here's the problem, Toon. When you say non-Euclidean, that's like saying I have not an apple. Now, you have not established what you have. You have just established what you don't have. And what you don't have is Euclidean geometry, which is based on logical postulates that cannot change, such as if you connect 2 points, you connect them with a straight line that does not deviate. You don't have the curved surface of the Earth turning straight lines into curved lines that are still straight, or else you're breaking the very postulates you're trying to use to establish your mathematical proofs of the Earth's shape.
You got it. And with that, we can kick it into open conversation mode. The floor is all yours, gentlemen.
Well, thank you very much for confirming everything. You do not understand science. You do not understand math or geometry. You can use straight lines. There are, in fact, curved lines in Euclidean geometry. You must not be aware of that. I did cite Euclid's Book 3, Proposition 18, which has the circle, which is curved. So congratulations, you learned something new today. So there are curves. So now there are other, so non-Euclidean geometry would be any of the other geometries that are not the one Euclidean geometry, like spherical geometry, example would be one. But I don't need to use that. I did not use spherical geometry to test whether or not the Earth was flat by using the observations of the sun that you didn't address, you just ignored. So thank you for denying all of that. Further, I only used Cartesian, which should be three-dimensional, right? X, Y, Z, to test whether or not the sphere Earth passes the hypothesis. So
how do you test a physical thing in mental thought processes?
I don't care. Okay, that you don't understand these things.
Oh, you don't understand. Okay, so
it doesn't matter at all.
If you don't understand,
that you don't understand math or science or geometry. That's fine. It's on you to get educated, not me to educate you. Okay. So it's your fault for not knowing these things.
Okay, so let me educate you right now. Is there a possibility that, do you know everything, MCToon?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I could educate you then, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So let's start discussing. the ideas, right? So you're going to. So can you, since you're you know this stuff, you can tell me exactly what mathematics is then, right? That you're going to use to establish these.
Sorry, is this just you pissing about what you don't know again?
No.
Yes, it is.
So you're not going to address my points.
I'm not.
So when I ask a question, you just don't address it.
One sec.
Philosophical.
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure whose turn it is because you were both. Why don't we go to what was the question you had, Kris, and then we'll give MCToon a chance to answer if you have a question.
Okay. Now here's the thing. Now what he has empirically is an observation of the sun, and I agree. We can see the sun. Now he moves from that to geometry and math, which doesn't happen in the real world. It's happening in his head and on paper. So I'm asking you, how are you proving the real empirical world with these brain functions?
Not proving anything. Science doesn't prove anything.
Okay, so you didn't prove that the Earth is a ball by looking at the sun and doing math.
Correct. Science does not prove anything.
But Matt,
I disproved the idea of flat Earth.
How did you wait? But then you would have to prove that the Earth is not flat.
That's not how it works. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry that you don't understand science.
Okay.
Your fault, not mine. Not my place to educate you. Your place to educate you on what is science.
I'm going to ask you something personally. Could you please stop saying I don't understand? Because when you say you don't understand, you're not expressing a thought. All you're doing is expressing that you can't articulate something. So when you say I don't understand, I'll just say, well, it looks to me that you can't express it because you're not smart enough. So instead of saying I don't understand, why don't you say what you're saying is wrong because of this?
Okay, so science does not prove things because proof is absolute. It does not leave. Don't interrupt me there. Okay, it does not leave the possibility for anything else. And science is always about testable things. There's always something more to learn. There's always a possibility. The door is always open that something's wrong and that we can improve our understanding of it, or that something is totally wrong. There's always that. You just need to come up with a better explanation, not denying the current explanation.
Okay, so you said science doesn't prove, so you didn't prove Earth can't be flat.
I did disprove or falsify the idea that Earth is flat.
So then you're saying you proved Earth cannot be flat.
I falsified the hypothesis that the Earth is flat.
So
I'm not going to play word games on this. I will say it one more time, and that's the last time I'll say it. I falsified the idea. I falsified the hypothesis that the Earth is flat.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So to you, the idea it can't be flat, but in reality, the Earth actually could still be flat because that's not an idea. That's reality. So your idea.
Been falsified,
hang on, I'm not
so
done.
It's not possible.
Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. Drink your tab. So what you said is that you didn't. Please don't interrupt. So you didn't prove that the Earth can't be flat. You didn't establish anything because all you're doing is saying, man. So the Earth could be flat because you can't prove that it's not.
It's been falsified. It cannot be flat.
Okay, yes. Okay, so you proved it can't be flat.
I falsified the hypothesis that the Earth is flat.
Okay, what does falsifying the hypothesis mean?
Yeah, again, you should.
You're saying the words.
Read up on Karl Popper.
Hypothesis is a guess.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And so when you test something,
a guess.
You
did you falsify a guess?
That's how science works. Absolutely.
So it falsifies a guess.
Yes. So there's two outcomes to a hypothesis. You can test it and you can falsify it, or you can confirm it. And if you confirm it, you didn't prove it. It's still a possibility.
How do you test the guess?
You iterate. You go over and over and over again on different versions of it until what you've done is you've falsified all the alternatives that you can possibly think of.
Okay, so if you can't think of an alternative, does that mean that there isn't one?
Nope.
So you've
always
falsifiable.
Okay.
So you've only falsified what you can think of, and to yourself. Now, when you say falsified, that means you believe it to be false, right?
It's been falsified, yeah.
But to who? Who has it been falsified to?
To logical people.
Okay, so who defines what's logical?
Yeah.
Do you want to have this debate or not? It seems like you're not ready to define.
This isn't a debate on science. What this is, as I said in my opening there, I am forcing you to prove or to support my point that flat Earth is a religion for uneducated science deniers. Yeah. All you are doing is denying science. You are supporting my point. Thank you very much.
Okay, so what we went through, when we got through it, he was like, it's logic, right? Because he always comes back to it's logic, right? That's even in the first thing he said, evidence, blah blah blah. Science is like
there's deduction.
Hang on, I'm not done. I'm not done. Please
thinking.
don't interrupt.
Yeah.
Please don't interrupt. Control yourself. I know you're all hopped up on caffeine, but please control yourself, Toon.
It's just water.
Okay, but just don't talk. Just don't talk. I'm trying to talk. So you're trying to establish again, right? Even when you used your logical postulates, your Euclidean, you come back to logic. Now I ask again, because it was in the first thing, evidence and science is the study of logic. So we're again at a logical dispute. So basically what it seems like is you believe the earth is a ball you've proved it to yourself, right? You falsified it to yourself, but you haven't falsified
the alternatives.
It to me. Hang on, I'm not done.
Yeah.
I'm not done. I still wasn't finished. So you haven't falsified it to me. You falsified it to yourself and your own beliefs, right?
I don't care about your opinion.
Oh, so because you believe it. So you believe what you
because
falsified.
You're an uneducated science denier. I don't care about your opinion.
And I think
also, there's many other reasons why I don't care about your opinion too.
Okay, but
Tara LaRosa is a hero.
Okay, so then your opinion. Okay, so you have established that if it's my opinion, then it's your opinion that you falsified that the earth can't be flat, right?
If you disagree, feel free to show the error in what I did. Well,
all I'm saying is you haven't proven it to me. You've proved it to yourself.
I didn't prove anything.
Exactly. You believe something.
Yes. Okay. So
exactly.
Do you have any actual refutation of what I showed? No, you don't.
You showed a sunset. You showed a sunset. I agree. Yeah, we see the sunset.
I did not show a sunset.
Yes, you did.
I measured the angle of the sunrise.
No, see, now when you start measuring angles, you get into the mathematics or the logic, the brain thought processes.
It burns your precious.
So when you look at a sun, right, the only thing empirical is looking at the sun, because when we try to establish what math is, you don't want to have that conversation, right?
Correct.
You're not going to talk about what math is.
This is not a debate about math. So if you don't understand it, I believe that you don't understand it.
Again. Yeah. Don't understand again, he says it. So I understand math. Now I understand what you're doing is looking at the sun. Then you're going, in my head, I believe that this can only happen on a ball. Therefore, everybody else should believe it. Well, that's not how logic works.
Well, thank you for not refuting my evidence, therefore accepting it. 2 points for me.
That's not how it works. Well, you didn't establish, first, you never established what evidence is. You said science determines what evidence is, and then you said science was determined by an individual, and an individual has his own unique logic. Like, to me, it's illogical to think that people are upside down under your feet. So you're always going to come back to logic when you use illogical ideas. Like, in the ball earth model,
we have run out of time. I will start your 5-minute statement if you want to continue, Kris. And
yeah.
The floor is all yours.
So let's just stick with logic, right? Logic has to follow. You can't have A, B, B, because that's illogical, right? That is the foundation. If you want to talk about logic, really, we can go to Socrates, Plato, when they talk about you can't have something without it not being other things. So if you told me I don't have a watermelon and I don't have an apple, you have not established what you do have. So with logic, you have to establish what you do have. And he doesn't want to talk about what he does or doesn't have. Because once he starts talking about the logic, right, in the ball earth model, down is up, right? That's illogical. Up cannot be down because up needs to be up. And if up is down, then it's not up. So if you start going down into the ball, without changing directions, when you get to the halfway point, you're going up. That is illogical, right? So when you're building the foundation of your argument on logic, but every aspect of what you're presenting is illogical, I don't understand how he can sit there with a straight face and say he's presented evidence when everything he says has been illogical. I'll yield the rest.
Thank you. Floor is all yours, MCToon.
Oh dear, that was your second and final presentation of evidence, and you didn't present any evidence. Thank you very much. 3 points for me. But you're confused about the direction of down. Yes, down is towards the center. I don't care if it's illogical for you. That is the model. And being that gravity has been tested and confirmed, and you don't have any refutation of that other than, trying to play semantic games or something. I don't know. Don't care. Again, you are my puppet. I am forcing you to deny science. You have done that again. Flat Earth is a religion for uneducated science deniers, and you are completely supporting that. It's wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Since he didn't present evidence, I actually can't refute anything. So that's all I have.
Gotcha. We will jump into that 10 minutes of open discussion.
Okay, so he said, will you admit that your model is illogical to me? Because that's what you just said.
I don't care if you
okay,
can't
so
fathom
are you,
it.
Toon, are you, okay, so you admit, look, I'm trying to have, look, will you maybe think about the audience too? There's a whole bunch of people that would like to hear a real honest exchange of ideas, and you telling them that you're saying you don't care about them. When you say I don't care, you go, I don't
Chris,
care about, hang on, I'm
Chris,
not done, don't interrupt
I don't
me.
care
Please,
about
don't interrupt
you.
Me. Don't.
You're a horrible
me.
person, and I
do have
really
to-
don't care about
We do
you.
have to let him finish.
There are hundreds, I don't know how many people are watching this right now, but there might be hundreds. And when you say you don't care, you're saying you don't care about every single one of these people that came here to watch an honest debate. Now, I'm going to ask you again, and be an honest man. Now, you said it's illogical to me. Will you agree with that statement that to you, your model is illogical to me? Now, if you're not going to have an honest conversation, we can just end it right here. Now,
I
I'm
can
asking you
accept
this
that
question.
you can. Absolutely, I can accept that you don't grasp it.
Okay, so to you, it's, I think it's illogical, but to you, it is logical. Will you agree with that? You can say yes, it's okay.
Go ahead.
Yes,
Continue.
yes. Okay, so now I'm going to say, to me, your model is illogical because there's people upside down, and I can articulate why it's illogical because of the people upside down, the down being up, right? Horizontal also has to be vertical, right? If you have a horizontal that goes across the middle and somebody goes around the ball, that horizontal becomes a vertical. So you have all these contradictions. That's why I say your model is illogical. Now, you're going to tell me that mine is illogical because I believe what I see. Now, I think if that's what your argument needs to be, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so you got nothing. I don't. There's no refutation. You didn't present any evidence. There's not even anything to discuss. You say it's illogical to you, but you don't present any evidence. You just say, I don't understand it, therefore it's not true. Sorry, no, I don't accept that. I understand that you don't understand it. I accept that part, but you don't have any refutation, right? So if you're like, it's people aren't upside down under me because I don't understand it, because it's illogical to me, doesn't matter. Is there evidence contrary to the evidence that's been presented, the burden of evidence over the last 2,000 years or more of the shape of the earth being established? Your lack of understanding of it doesn't falsify it or contradict the existing evidence. You have done nothing to present evidence. You have done nothing to refute evidence. You have only said you don't get it. I believe that you don't get it.
So can I understand your model and disagree with it?
You certainly could disagree with it, but what you would need to do then is provide some refutation of it.
Okay, how would you know if somebody understood your model and disagreed with it between somebody who just didn't understand it?
I don't know if that really matters. What matters is presenting evidence. So do you have any?
Okay, so so first, here's the thing. You're saying evidence, right? Again, you won't define what evidence is, right? And then even when you did, it went back to logic, okay? And then we come to what did you present? And I presented, you said you didn't present anything. And I did. I said, everybody sees the world with never observing people upside down under their feet. Now, that is real. That is empirical. That is what you would call evidence. Now, what you're going to say is, no, there are people upside down under your feet, but I can't show or present any evidence for that. You just have to believe me. So why should I believe you?
Well, I've presented one piece of evidence. We only have an opportunity here to present two different pieces of evidence. But like I said, I did have a collection of things for people that missed it in, elementary school, junior high, high school, college, of some of the evidences on my website, mctoon.net/burden. So anybody's like, hey, how come Toon doesn't present any evidence? It's all there, all the measurements, everything.
Okay.
Many years of reading for you. So.
Was any of that evidence an actual visible observation of the Earth with people upside down under the ground?
I don't think I have any photographs on that particular page.
I didn't ask
but
for photographs.
if you want, I can.
Ask for.
You asked for visible evidence.
No, that's not what I asked for. I said, and so when you look at a picture, that's not observing reality. That's looking at a picture in reality, right? So would you agree that looking at, like, if you open your door to your house and you're seeing the real world, you agree that's different than looking at a picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you say that if we were to establish the highest burden, like for the strongest quote unquote evidence, it would be an observation in reality, right?
Continue. I
can't continue.
Your line of reasoning is I disagree with your line of reasoning.
Okay, why do you disagree?
But do continue.
But why do you disagree? Why do you disagree?
Right, say it again so we can.
So you don't even know what it is and you disagree?
Say it again.
Okay, so you disagree without even knowing what I said. Okay, so I said the highest degree of evidence, right? So if you're going to start talking about evidence, I know you don't want to get into what it is. So let's just say the standard that nobody can say is wrong is if we see it in reality, like the sun. I can't say the sun doesn't exist because there it is, right? You would have to. Would you agree?
Sure. So yeah. So it is a high. I wouldn't say it is the highest, but yeah, a person seeing it with their own eyes is a very high standard of evidence. Yes.
Okay. What would be higher?
I don't know.
So then can we say it's the highest?
No, I'm not doing absolutes. I'm sorry.
Just like
science doesn't prove things. Just like science doesn't prove things, I'm not going with absolutes.
But highest,
I could in an hour or 10 days from now think of a way that might be higher. So I'll say, okay, yeah, it's a high level.
So for right now, will we agree that it's the highest standard we can think of?
At the moment, yes, it's the highest we've thought of in the last minute.
That's great.
Yep.
So you're saying with the highest standard that we can think of, we observe the Earth oriented like a flat plane with pieces on a chessboard, right?
No.
Okay, so when do we observe, with the highest standard, our eyes, with the Earth as a ball?
When the horizon does not rise to eye level and we can measure it.
Okay, so is that a measurement or an observation of the Earth as a ball?
It's a measurement, yes.
Okay, so it's not an observation of the Earth as a ball.
A measurement and an observation. Yeah, it sounds like you're just trying to play pedantic games here. Which is fine. It supports my original thing that you're a science denier.
Science, right? There we go.
Absolutely.
So we said that. Okay, so this is what I was trying to say. So you asked me for evidence, and then you agreed that the highest standard of evidence that you can think of right now is an observation in reality. Now we observe pieces on a chessboard, flat plane orientation. Now, I'm just talking orientation, right? There's no hang on, I'm not done. Let me finish. I'm talking orientation. I'm not talking the angle of the sun. I'm just talking nobody is upside down under our feet. That's all I'm talking, right? So now, if you can't observe that with the highest standard of evidence, which is in the real world looking at it, right? How are you going to assert that what you can observe in the real world gets trumped? Like the highest standard of evidence, which should trump all the others until you can think of something better, would be what we observe. You agreed on that. Now, when we see this as pieces on a chessboard, it should trump everything else until it is demonstrated otherwise. So can you trump the observation in reality of everybody as pieces in a chessboard as the evidence of a flat plane?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. How would you do that?
I already presented one.
What was that?
I presented, the sunset observation falsifies that the Earth is flat.
To you. But that doesn't prove that. Yeah. No, okay. So you watching a sun disappear proves that people are upside down under your feet?
It's the angle of the sunrise and sunset is an impossibility on flat Earth. Therefore, that's not an option.
Okay, so the angle of the sun proves that people are upside. Hold on, let me tell you. The angle of the sun establishes that people are upside down under our feet.
Yes, it supports.
Okay,
that.
So the angle of the sun is more convincing of the orientation of people than the actual observation of the orientation of people?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's it.
All right, that's just in time for the wrap up on that 10-minute section. This is our last section of. Is that MCToon? Okay.
No, I'm just thanks for that soundbite tune. I mean,
that's the guy that got his ass kicked by a girl.
Oh, and you just got your ass kicked by me mentally.
We will go to the final. All right, hold on, gentlemen. We will go to the final 5-minute presentation. This one from MCToon, followed by 5 minutes from Kris, and then 10 minutes of open convo before the Q&A starts. So the floor is all yours, MCToon.
All right, I am presenting my screen here. Are you showing that yet? I don't want to move on.
Crystal clear.
Okay, so this is from Facebook from today. You see this picture here at the top here that Kris presented. Must be as a something to try to convince somebody. Maybe he thinks it's evidence of flatness. I was kind of curious. Kris asks, how does a flat horizon a ball? Whatever that means. But here's the picture here. He has this picture of the horizon and drew a line across it and wrote flat AF. So Kris definitely accepts pictures of the horizon as evidence. Right? Now, the problem is, of course, that when we're measuring the shape of the horizon, if we're taking a picture, which Kris completely supports because that is the evidence he presented today, we need to be careful of lens distortion, right? So I don't consider lenses with strong barrel or pin cushion distortion or different distortions. When possible, you want to use an external reference like a straight edge when you're looking at the shape of the horizon. Otherwise, if you have a lens with known distortion properties that are extremely low, you can consider that as well, but you need to control for that conflating variables. Now, you can see several examples of this on my website at mctoon.net/curve, so you can follow along at home. Right here, let's see, is from Rory. So here is what he did. He set up a straight edge. He's about 600 feet above the water in Ibiza, and he has a straight edge. So if you take a photograph of that straight edge that you know is straight next to the horizon, like he did here, right? If the straight edge is straight in the photograph and the horizon is curved in the photograph, then we know that the horizon is curved. So here is a zoom in of that particular photograph. Now, again, I want to remind you, photographs are things that Kris accepts, right? Because he presented it today on Facebook. So if we zoom in here and we look closely as we pan left to right, we can see that horizon is curved. Now, it's difficult to measure whether or not the straight edge is straight in that picture, or the curve is curved in that picture, because it's too wide for our eyes to take up in one picture. But we can do a horizontal compression of it. Let me do that, and that's right here. This is what it looks like. We can see the straight edge is straight and the horizon is curved. So evidence that Kris accepts a photograph of the horizon showing that it's not flat AF. Further, we can do one at lower elevation. It's harder. You need a little better quality camera than the one that Rory used. Oh, by the way, you can download the original photograph from Rory with all the EXIF and GPS information embedded in it. So we have this one here from Tommy Gronwald, where he used a straight edge. We can get close in here. We can see the straight edge that he put up next to the horizon there, right? We can pan left and right. Now, here's what I did. This was tedious. I counted the pixels from the straight edge to the horizon all the way across. This is just a little zoom in part of it. And then I put it in a spreadsheet. You can download the Photoshop file that I used. You can download the original raw image straight out of Tommy's camera, right? I counted these pixels. And what did I do? I put them into a spreadsheet, and then I had it do a polynomial line fit. And you can see right here, that line is curved. You can see x squared plus 1.2985x plus a constant, right? So it is a curved line. Thank you very much.
60 seconds.
All right. And finally, Dwayne Kellum did the same thing with a camera, and we know the properties of the camera. We can see it right here from a website that documents the distortion of camera lenses. In this particular one at 117,000 feet, you can see this image right here on the screen. We can zoom in here. I drew a line across it, left to right. You can see on the left side there, it's right up against the horizon. You pan to the right and it curves, right? And if you want, you can do a left to right compression. And again, it curves with a lens that is rectilinear lens, does not introduce distortion into it. So using Kris's own standard of evidence, we can see that the horizon is curved.
Gotcha. Thanks so much. We will switch it over to, just in time, Kris for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was amazing straw man there, Toon. I don't know if anybody saw it, if anybody was watching along what he did. Now, I was talking orientation, okay? I was talking observation in reality as the highest standard he can think of, and for orientation. Now, what did he do? If anybody has half a brain, they can pick up right now what he did. The first thing he did is he left orientation, right? And he went to curve or straight, right? He never showed upside down people. Every picture he showed was oriented as pieces on a chessboard. Yes, so he supported my claim that there's only one shape can have that orientation everywhere. That's a flat plane. Now, the other thing he did was he started talking about Kris accepts pictures. Okay, but this is why I established before and had Mr. Toon agree that the highest standard of evidence that he could think of is the observation in reality. Now, you notice when I was talking about observations in reality as the highest standard of evidence, quote unquote, he didn't go, you know, pictures actually beat what you see in reality, because everybody knows that would be stupid. And he doesn't want to appear stupid in front of everybody at that point. So what he did is he waited. He waited till his 5 minutes so then he can be stupid and go to pictures, right? Now, it was a very nice trick, and I'm sure if he was talking to somebody dumb, it might work on them, right? But that's the problem, is that I understand his stupid little tricks. So what I want to talk about is not the curving of the horizon, because that's irrelevant to orientation, right? So orientation and your photo manipulation doesn't make orientation changes, and your curve can only happen in pictures, which is not the higher standard of reality. So Toon, the only thing you have is a lower standard of pictures, right? And to strawman away from my actual stronger argument, which is orientation, because you can't prove any orientation other than pieces on a chessboard, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to obfuscate and deflect away. We know you can't deal with orientation. You're going to set up all these things, a little ball, take a picture, look at the sun, and then go, he even admitted it. He goes, the angle to the sun is a bigger proof that people are upside down under my feet than never observing it in reality. This man is in a religion of the ball. He worships the geocentric sun. That's why he moves the ground around it, right? He is here just to push his religious beliefs on people, to make you believe that up is down, to make you believe that people are upside down under your feet, so that when he says it, he doesn't feel like the only person that believes this illogical nonsense, that horizontal can be vertical. If you made a horizontal on a ball and walked a quarter way around the earth, that horizontal is now your vertical. That's an oxymoron. Everything the ball earth is built on is contradiction, and Toon is the perfect spokesperson. Look at how many times he said science denier, doesn't understand. That's his entire argument. He doesn't do anything. He just says you're a science denier. He won't say what science is. He won't have an intelligent conversation on what science is and what logic is. He can't, because he's not intelligent. The only thing he can say is you're a science denier. You pull his string, he goes, you're a science denier. Pull his string, he goes, you're a science denier. Ask him what science is, he can't have the conversation. Ask him what you deny, he can't have the conversation. He's not here for a conversation. I hope everybody sees this. Thank you.
Next, we will go into, frighteningly, the last 10 minutes of open conversation. So that's before the Q&A starts. This is 10 minutes that we have to just ride through. We got to survive this. The floor is all yours, gentlemen.
All right. Well, thank you very much for, once again, 4
denying
points for
science.
me. Denying science, absolutely.
Yep. Not
I
understanding.
presented a curved horizon in contradiction to your claim that the horizon was flat AF. Now, sorry, the people are saying that I doxed you, Kris. I just as an aside, if we can do this, did I dox you? Do people know your
Yes,
last
you did
name?
dox me, actually. Yes,
you did. Okay.
You did.
Your name is Kris Zielinski. Write the hand.
goes.
People know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I posted
no.
today.
You're saying people know that.
Yeah.
They know that now because
Yeah.
you doxed me.
You
Yeah,
posted yesterday morning on
posted.
Facebook.
Right now.
Kris
Nobody here knew who I was.
Zielinski. Kris
You
Zielinski
just
posted. Will you stop
You
talking
just
for a
posted
second?
it now. But you just
Stop
posted it now. You just
Stop
doxed
talking
me now
for a
on
second.
because you doxed
okay,
me.
so
Can you mute him so that I can get my sentence
let's
out?
see MCToon. We prefer people not dox people. So if you have a defense in which you can persuade everybody that you did not dox them, now's your chance,
So,
MC.
yesterday morning, the Facebook account Kris Zielinski posted, tagging my Facebook account, that there is a debate between Kris Zielinski and MCToon on modern day debates. So you doxed yourself if that's a concern of yours. Okay?
Okay, who brought it up right now?
Don't care.
On this,
you did it
on
yesterday
this. Oh,
morning.
okay. Oh, no, I did it on Facebook and I said there's going to be a debate, okay? So now look, I don't really care because this is what you do to try and get away. So we're talking, when I say orientation, right? Do you hear curved horizon?
I read on the screen flat AF.
Okay, but that wasn't my argument. You presented that. Do you realize that you presented that? I didn't present that as evidence right now.
That was your evidence.
No, but not
presented.
now. In the debate, right now, you are straw manning to something else. So I want to talk orientation. Will you talk orientation, or are you going to bring up another picture and straw man me?
Well, if you want to
Let's
address
talk
my
orientation.
evidence, no.
Let's
I
talk
presented
orientation.
evidence of a curved horizon.
No.
If you want to ignore that evidence and give me the win by default without even a challenge, go right ahead.
Okay, so will you give me the win on orientation, which defeats the ball?
No, you.
Okay, so then let's have the conversation. So where do you prove the orientation other than pieces on a chessboard? Where do you prove that with in reality, the highest standard, not a picture?
Measure the shape of the Earth, then you understand that the orientation of it has certain implications.
Okay, so what you're saying that you think the observation in reality gets trumped by your understanding?
No, by the measurements.
No, but you just said you have to understand the measurements.
Yeah, and
So
I know you
okay,
don't,
what about
so that's
okay?
fine.
Let me ask you this. What if somebody doesn't understand the measurements? Would the measurements they don't understand trump the observations of pieces on a chessboard reality they can see?
I'm not playing this game.
What game?
You
won't answer
you're
a
not
question.
Addressing.
You're not
so
helping.
Now,
I'm
see,
giving you a
I
question
presented
to
evidence, and you're running away from that evidence.
No, I'm.
I
Okay.
showed a curved horizon.
I'm talking
you won't
orientation,
even-
Michael. Michael, you keep
it was
moving from
my-
orientation.
It was,
I
but it's
wanna
my
talk
presentation, not yours.
No, but you presented
My
something that
presentation
I
was
presented.
of a curved horizon.
Okay, that's great.
You don't
Okay,
have any refutation of that. I understand,
let me-
and that's why you need to deflect from the actual evidence presented. Thank you very much.
You didn't present a curved horizon. You presented a picture. That picture is not reality, and you manipulated the picture by zooming. Hang on, let me finish. You did a whole bunch of zooming in. That's not reality. Okay, so now if you want to look at that picture, right? Now you look at that picture, you zoom in on the horizon, you see a slight curve because of the lens or whatever reason, who knows why, but you see that and you go, I see this slight curve when I took this picture, then I cropped it out and then zoomed in. I see that. That means there's people upside down under my feet, even though I never see that and I only see this orientation. That's a belief system like a religion. When you believe something you never see, right? Like you'll never see God. So that would take a belief, right? You would just have to believe, right? Now, when you don't see people upside down under your feet, you just have to believe it, right? Like a religion. This is why he's not responding, because he can't.
You've not addressed
I'm a science
the evidence I
denier.
presented. Yeah.
You presented the orientation of pieces on a chessboard. Yes.
This was
you
presentation of a curved horizon, and you've not addressed it.
One sec,
like
we
a
do have to
flat
give MCToon we gotta give him a chance to speak now too.
Yeah. So I presented during my time to present a curved horizon, and you will not address that. I know it's because you can't address that. So
the picture you presented was oriented like a flat plane. You won't address that because you can't.
Because it's not the evidence that I presented.
But we're talking about the exact same thing. And this is why you won't talk about what evidence is. So you presented a picture that you believe proves the Earth is a ball. Now, I see that picture, and I don't believe Earth is a ball. I believe it proves the orientation that I see in the real world. So you're in a religion of beliefs, Mr. Toon. Thank you for proving that.
Yes, thank you for ignoring the evidence I presented. Awesome. So,
yeah, I didn't ignore the evidence. You presented, right? You presented a picture. Now, you said this picture, I believe, this is what you said. You're saying, I believe because of this manipulated picture that's been zoomed in and cropped, because of that, I believe people are upside down under my feet. And I said, but you never see the people upside down under your feet. And you go, but I believe in them because
just
of the
because
picture.
You can't see them at the moment. Sorry, that doesn't work. That's just denying stuff.
But how, wait.
I presented evidence.
You should deny
twice.
what you can't see.
You presented nothing twice. Your refutations of my evidence were nothing twice.
Should you deny what you can't see? If I never saw people upside down under my feet, I should deny it, right?
No.
Oh, so if I never saw the tooth fairy, I shouldn't deny it?
We're not talking about the tooth fairy. Nobody's claiming the tooth fairy is real.
Okay, let's try
Are
again.
people claiming the tooth fairy is real?
Are people claiming people are upside down under your feet?
Absolutely. 8 billion of us make that claim.
Okay, so now if we never saw it, what if 8 billion people claimed the tooth fairy was real and they never saw it? Would that make the tooth fairy real?
You would need to test that hypothesis and see
How
if
do you
there's
test
evidence
people upside
supporting
down
it.
under your feet?
You test, you measure the shape of the Earth. You test. There's lots of ways to test empirically the shape of the Earth, but you won't even do it. You won't even address the things that I have presented, right? Because all you have is the ability to deny science.
Wow, that's like 56 times. Okay, so when you say evidence,
so stop denying science. Let's have a discussion about the evidence.
You won't even talk about you're saying evidence.
You're
you presented a picture.
Yeah.
You presented a picture of orientation that matches a flat plane. So your picture backs up my claim of flat orientation.
And it matches the orientation of a sphere.
No,
so
it's neither. Has people upside down under the feet.
It's inconclusive in that sense.
No, it's not. It's very conclusive. You would need a picture of the sun under the ground to prove that that's where it goes. But you don't have that. So you have beliefs. You believe in what you can't see, just like a Christian with God. Yeah, right? It's crazy. Okay. That's crazy. But hey, man, you know, ballers got to believe. You know, everybody's got to believe.
Yeah, so I did falsify the very idea of flat Earth using science.
To you, to yourself you did.
Well,
to yourself.
To rational people, yes.
To logical people and who use that logic to believe that there's people upside down under their feet. Yes. To those people you did prove it, yes. But to people that are logical and don't believe that the sun is under their feet with people upside down, you didn't prove it. So you have a religion. You have a religion that you have accepted, but you can't prove it to anyone else because it's a religion. It's your own personal beliefs. Thank you, Mr. Toon. That was very good. Yeah, this went well. You have a belief that nobody else does.
Thank you for not presenting any evidence, and thank you for not even addressing the evidence I presented.
You presented...
Because all you have is plugging your ears and saying, nuh-uh. So
that's what you do.
Sorry.
You presented a picture of the orientation of a flat plane.
I don't plug my ears and say nuh-uh.
You do. You presented a picture.
I said it supports my globe.
No, it doesn't.
As well.
Your globe has the sun under our feet, which is not what you took a picture of. You took a picture of the sun over our head, which happens on a flat plane. So you're supporting my claim. You just have a belief, like a religious zealot, that the world is upside down under your feet.
35 seconds left.
You got roasted here tonight, Toon. James is laughing at you.
No, I'm just laughing at how intense this is.
He opened
I presented evidence, Kris.
Button 20 minutes ago.
And you
deny science. I know. I deny science. I deny your evidence.
So
but you don't see. You just admitted you believe in upside down people when you've never seen it. You admitted that. You gave me so many sound bites, Toon. It's amazing. I can't believe you did this. Thank you.
Yeah.
We will.
Can I show something? Quick here?
We're basically out of that 10 minutes or so. If Kris is okay with it, because this would be going beyond.
Yeah, he can. You know, he gave me the sound bites. He can.
Sure.
He can have this.
All right, so I'm presenting here. So there you go. I don't know. Is this on screen yet?
Yes.
So Kris Zielinski on Facebook, 2 MCToon, Michael Toon. The wait is over. Unless Michael Toon goes complete female dog, he's getting owned on modern day debates. Very truly. And I told you that you couldn't run forever. So there you go. Thank you very much. You doxed yourself. Now,
who's your truly?
Additionally, Kris.
Who's your truly?
Additionally, Kris, I would like it very much if you kept your word to apologize to Karen B for the disgusting things that you said, because you promised you would.
No.
I said you promised. Hey, don't interrupt me, please.
Those terms.
Don't interrupt.
Let's give. We have to give MCToon a chance.
So on my website, mctoon.net/rth, I have screenshots of Kris Zielinski and Right the Hand both saying that he will apologize to Karen B on video after the debate. There you go. You know it, or you're a liar.
No, hang on. Let me finish. You said you won't, and here's another thing. He said morally he won't debate me until I apologize, right? Which I never did, and yet here he is showing he has no morals. Now, second, I said I will debate you because you were trying to get me to apologize, so I was more worried about the audience. I want the audience to see a debate, so I was like, look, I'll concede the apology, but first you have to debate me so you don't weasel out of it. You said no. That's what you said. You said no. So you know what? You said no. That's on you. You didn't like those terms. Now you showed up because you have nothing else, and you're begging for people to debate you because you're a loser and you do the same stupid things every time as you don't understand and this and that. So you denied the terms that I offered you, so you can't bring them back now. Sorry, you denied them. You had your chance. You denied them. You told me no. So
Q&A.
Game over for that.
We'll go into the Q&A. With that, thanks for your question. We will read through these quickly because we have a lot. Appreciate all the questions, folks. And the first one, you could say a comment from Anthony Chicante. MCToon, your buddy, says, keep interrupting, MCToon. And next, John Robertson says, to Kris, why doesn't the sun always rise southeast and set southwest as it must for everyone living north of the Tropic of Cancer on a flat Earth?
Now, he's just saying it must. That's just his personal belief, right? What, because he says this is how it has to happen, it has to happen? I'm sorry, man. He's not the arbiter of truth. Now, if he wanted me to explain another idea, I could. It would just be, would you accept it? Would you personally believe what I spoke as an explanation of how the sun will work in a flat plane? And no, you won't, because you already believe the Earth is a ball. So that's what that said.
Next, Esteban Lebaca, thank you for your question, says, Kris, are laws of nature logical? A ball in space with people upside down does not contradict any law of nature. Conclusion, your logic sucks.
Laws of nature that's what we base logic on, is the laws of nature. And in nature, we never see people walking upside down, living their normal lives in relation to people that are living the opposite. We never see those happening at the same time. So it is not logical.
Gotcha. And Titanic Terrarium, thanks for your question, says, oh dear, the flat earther has had all his toys taken away from him and is starting to get very triggered.
What toys? He didn't want to talk about evidence, so.
Speaking of toys, we miss you, Nathan Thompson. We hope you're doing well. Let's see. Next up, Tim Pryor, thanks for your question, says, OMG, how many times do we have to tell flat earthers it's not north and... Oh gosh, sorry, I butchered that one. Let me fix this. How many times do we have to tell flat earthers up is not north and down is not south? Up is toward the sky, down is toward the ground, no matter where you're at on the planet.
But down changes to up when you keep going. If you keep going down, you will eventually go up, which means up is down, which means you don't have what you can't have up without up not being down. Your up is down, you don't have up. Contradiction again.
Next, Anthony Chicante says, looks like this debate is over. MCToon doesn't like his method of presenting evidence dismantled. You can respond if you'd like, MCToon.
Yeah, I presented evidence and Kris presented nothing, and Anthony doesn't like that I presented evidence, I guess.
Rick's World, thank you for your question, says, Kris, nobody needs to believe Earth is a globe. It is a globe, and we are not arguing with you. We are explaining why we are right and you are wrong.
Yeah, well, a Christian will explain to you why he's right and you're wrong about God being real. It still comes down to that's a personal belief on the person that it's being explained to accept it whether it's true or not.
Gotcha. James Crow comes in with the next question saying, Kris, Dunning-Kruger effect. Next, Tim, I mean, if you want to respond, you can. We read everything here.
It is a fact, but it's not a fact that I have it. Like, it's a real thing that happens to people, but it's not happening to me.
Tim Pryor, thanks for your question, said, tell Kris to point north and to point up. Maybe then he'll realize nobody's upside down in the southern hemisphere.
Okay, north and up orientation. You can have north and south on a flat orientation. So,
gotcha. Next, this one comes in from Anthony Chicante. Strikes again. He says, red as a beetroot again. Too much soda. Tune. Ha ha.
Little secret, it's just water. I did have some when I debated red pill philosophy. Tab is disgusting. I hate it. So it's just
really. Oh, I'm surprised.
I don't.
You put okay. We'll come back to that later. Anthony Chicante, or this is Titanic Terrarium. Thanks for your question. Says eyeball observations of anything are one of the worst forms of evidence.
Yeah.
Again, MC2 not 10 minutes ago said that it was the highest form of evidence and he couldn't think of a better one. Contradicting himself again.
Well, I refused to say that I didn't have a better one. I did then right away. So, oh, here's a better one. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, and what was that better one? A picture?
Next.
Measurements.
Flunchy, thank you for your question. Says Kris is embarrassing. He makes real flat earthers like me seem dumb. He is paid opposition.
That's right.
The reason that this is funny is because they purposely misspelled like all of the words. So that was a funny Poe, I guess you could say.
Meant to be read like a retard, right? Like a
Dr. Phil, thank you for your question. Huge honor to have you here, by the way. You could be a lot of places. Says, question, RTH, do you know you are absolutely mental? Who's RTH?
That's me, right the hand, yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, Dr. Phil's not even a real doctor, so...
Yeah, you know, take that.
His opinion's not worth much.
It's a different Dr. Phil. There's an actual Dr. Philip Bell, who is the one that sent you that super chat there.
Gotcha.
I thought it was the Dr. Phil from TV.
Next up, Richard Ashton says, if the world is over 71% water, it can only form a ball?
My bathtub is like 85% water, and it doesn't form a ball. Good job there, buddy.
Tim Pryor, thanks for your question, says, have him draw a straight line on a piece of paper, then have him roll up that piece of paper. Is that line still not straight? Of course it is. There's your straight curved line.
You can't have a straight curved line. Once you curve it, it stops being straight. That's the whole definition of straight, is not curved.
It's straight on different geometries.
Gotcha. And
no.
Thank you for your...
Or you don't know about different geometries. They exist.
Next, thank you for your question. This one comes from Gabriel K. Says, James, please follow up on abiogenesis. You're the best. Thanks for your kind words. Appreciate it. You're the best. And we will try to have another abiogenesis debate soon. Titanic Terrarium, thanks. By the way, folks, very excited as we have a controversial, juicy debate this Sunday. You're seeing that on the bottom right of your screen. That should be a controversial and stimulating one. But we're also excited because tomorrow, Dr. Richard Carrier, speaking of Christianity being true, we will have a debate on whether or not there's evidence for the resurrection featuring Dr. Richard Carrier and CJ Cox. So that should be a lot of fun tomorrow night. Hopefully we'll see you here for that. Titanic Terrarium, thanks for your last question, said, this is the last vestige of the flat earth. To attempt to debate epistemology, since there is no evidence for flat earth, it's all that's left. Now, the deflection.
Absolutely. That's all they have.
Hey, I would say that I presented better evidence than you when you presented that, and it was you presented the picture of the sun overhead, the boats out on the horizon, and everything oriented like a flat plane. You're laughing, but you presented this evidence of a flat plane, orientation-wise.
Bless.
You did. That was your presentation.
Gotcha.
You never presented upside-down people.
Thanks for your question. This one comes in from our dear friend Rodney Thalberg. Thank you for your question. Says modern day debate, and I'll pay you back for this, Rodney. Let's see. It says is one of the best shows on YouTube. I love watching these interesting and entertaining debates. I hope Kunz does this for 20 years. Thank you, Rodney, for your kind words. That seriously really means a lot. We are excited about the future. I'm pumped. We just have a lot of awesome stuff. And so, just like tonight, this has been a thrill. And so, we appreciate all the support. And P. Barnes, thanks for your question, says, MCToon is in a battle of wits with an unarmed opponent.
I take offense, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, sorry, I told you we read everything.
Haters going to hate.
But it makes it more spontaneous, more organic if we read literally everything. We draw the line somewhere.
I got the thick skin.
Area 85 Restorations, thanks for your question, said, I work at a rocket launch and test site as an engineer. Can you explain how it is possible I'm wrong about the shape of the Earth? Especially given that I can't do my job and be wrong at the same time.
That's what he believes. A lot of people believe that things couldn't happen if the Earth wasn't flat, but that just because you believe it doesn't mean that's what I believed I was going to grow up and be a sports athlete. Life doesn't work out like you think you believe it will.
Gotcha. And Anthony Chicante, MCToon's best friend, says, beetroot alert. Is this an inside joke? Is this like something?
Yeah, he's done that a couple times. I do that easily, and it's warm in here. That makes it even more, because I shut the door so the family doesn't hear, and it's a warm day. So I'm toasty, I'm sweaty a little bit, but I don't care. His best evidence for flat Earth is that my face is red. Good job, Anthony.
Thank you for that. Tim Pryor, thanks for your question as well, says, so is there going to be any evidence of flat Earth? Just wondering, or is it just going to keep being globe bashing?
I presented the evidence of the picture of the flat plane with the orientation as a flat plane. Now, if you want to deny the evidence, that's on you.
Next,
the evidence deniers.
Titanic Terrarium, thanks for your question, says the highest standard of evidence would be a collection of instruments and sensors all agreeing.
That's a great point.
I disagree, because you got to observe the sensors, and then when you observe a Geiger counter move, you don't know what you're observing. You're just observing this thing go back and forth.
Yeah, you might not know, but other people do.
Yeah. No, they can see
I
past
accept
the
that
thing
you don't know.
You see the thing moving back and forth. You can't get anything more out of that unless you're having beliefs.
Next, Tim Pryor, thanks for your question, says, but everybody that's been to space has observed the Earth to be a sphere. So is that BS or CGI? I would love for one flat earther to get a CGI specialist and prove every picture of the Earth is fake, but none of you have tried.
I use reality to prove pictures are fake, not experts, right? If somebody showed me a picture of Bigfoot, I wouldn't take it to an expert. I'd compare it to reality. If you don't see Bigfoot in reality, you don't need anybody to tell you that picture's fake. Reality does it.
Gotcha. Morthos, thanks for your question, says, if the Earth were flat, Kris, and the sun was rotten over the southern half of the Earth, would the days in Australia get longer or shorter, yes or no?
Bro, whatever happens, right? I don't control what the Earth does. The Earth does what it does. Now you have to take from that whether you think the Earth is a ball spinning or whether you think the Earth is a flat plane with the sun moving.
Gotcha. And Sunflower, thanks for your abusive super chat for MCToon. Says, MCToon forfeits by default since he doxed Kris. Next, the stuttering rager Livin says, MCToon, explain why we still see the same constellations since the dawn of time if we were flying through space at millions of miles per hour.
Well, that's easy. The positions of the stars change all the time. Different stars change at different rates. Barnard's star changes a lot. Polaris changes a medium amount, and there's others that change a small amount. If you want documentation of this, I have it at mctoon.net/Polaris. There's 150 years of documentation of Polaris's movement and links to the source documents that you can confirm other stars have been moving as well.
Gotcha. And Dr. Phil, thanks again, says RTH was not doxed. We all know who Kris is. LOL. Wow, even Dr. Phil knows you. You are a big deal. Okay. Lily RO says, isn't globe side is saying down is the center of the, or isn't the globe side saying down is the center of the Earth? How is that difficult to understand? P.S. This channel and the moderator are my favorite on YouTube. Thanks, Lily RO. Seriously appreciate it. You make me blush. But as for that question, said, isn't the globe side saying down is the center of the Earth?
Yeah, I understand down as being points that stop in the middle. But if you draw a line directionally through the entire Earth, one line, there's a point on that line where down becomes up when you pass the center. That's what I'm saying.
By the same logic, Kris, any direction that you point is also south.
Gotcha. And
on flat Earth. So
next up, B-Ball for Life. Thanks for your question. Said, right, the hand supposedly owns a business but doesn't believe in math.
Yeah, math is one, there's no definition, and if you have to believe in it right off the bat, you've established that it's not real. Right? Nobody's saying I don't believe in rocks because they're real, right? When you say you don't believe, we both know that you've left the realm of reality.
Gotcha. And Tim Pryor, thanks for your question, says, and anybody with half a brain knows the Earth is flat. Ha ha, see what I did there?
He said I have half a brain. Yeah, very good.
Next, Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, I am so flattered you were here. It says, RTH used to do stand-up. LOL. He wasn't funny and got booed off the stage. LOL. Oh, man, that one's piercing.
Bro, that's an actual lot. First off, I've never been booed off the stage, right? You can say what you want. I've killed on multiple occasions. So, yeah, never been booed off. That's an absolute lie.
Gotcha. That was intense. That was one of the. That was one of the.
Is that my ex-girlfriend?
That could be. You know, we do have another one. This one comes in from RT96. Says evidence 6 tab 4 RTH 0. All rights reserved.
I presented evidence of orientation of a flat plane. Everybody's just ignoring it. Okay, fine,
yeah, because it matches both. But the all rights reserved was from a live stream I did on Tuesday. So it's a little insight.
I'm pretty sure it was before that.
Next, this one is from Jordan Smith. Appreciate your super chat. Said, Kris is making Nathan Thompson look intelligent, and that's a grown man that stalks children. Okay, he doesn't stalk children. He was just did get a disorderly conduct. I know. But we can't say he stalks people. It says because that just now the YouTube and the algorithm is gonna pick that up, and that's all they're gonna like listen into.
But I'm worse than that. This is what he's saying. I'm worse than that.
They said, and that's a grown man because he can't convince an adult.
That's something to beat. Wow.
They said stop whining. Next, appreciate your question. This one comes in from Area 85 Restorations. Good to see you again. Thanks for your other question. He says, Kris, or he or she says, Kris, just because you are way too uneducated to understand why you are wrong doesn't make you right.
Oh yeah, I would say the same thing to Toon. That could go towards him. Just because he doesn't understand why he's wrong doesn't make him right.
Gotcha. And RTH says, Bebo for Life, thanks for your question, says, RTH, when the sun sets and goes below the horizon, is it going below our feet?
No, the sun doesn't go below. He's using below like it's moving under you, right? Like you don't observe it. You don't observe it going under you. You just don't observe it anymore. You then have
Where's
to
it go? Does it
You're
fall into the ocean
speculating.
and then go into like a tunnel underneath the ocean and come out the other side?
Will you agree that we have to speculate? That's what you're doing.
No, not at all.
Well, then
We're
why
not
did you
speculating.
ask me? You wouldn't ask me where it went if you knew.
I'm asking what you think the Earth is.
When
where
you think the
where you
floor is
think it
spinning.
works for your
Yeah,
silly
you
flat
think
Earth
the floor
belief.
is moving, and you think
been-
the floor is moving. That's
been
just
measured, of
it's
course,
ridiculous. Yeah. We're spinning backwards. Yeah, sure. I feel it.
Gotcha. And thanks for your question. This one comes in from Flat Earth Data. Says, MC Tool, how is the horizon caused by a ball when it's caused by angles to light? The apparent junction of the sky and ground is apparent, right?
Well, when the Earth gets in the way of the sun, that's how the sunset happens. That's how the horizon happens. It's where that meets. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
again, he doesn't understand.
Titanic Terrarium strikes again, saying, Kris, you were totally delusional if you think MCToon got roasted. You embarrassed yourself start to finish.
I mean, that's what he believes. I'm sure you ask people that support me, they'll say I did a good job against Toon. So this is why personal beliefs is, you believe what you want.
Next up, David Velar, thanks for your question, says Kris avoids discussing any logical argument. He just denies what he feels is convenient. I destroy him in a debate.
I wanted to talk what logic is and establishes, and MCToon didn't. So
Next, Stephen Renfro, thanks for your question, said, don't expect this to get in Q&A, but here, Kris, by your logic, you can't use a ruler, or you just think that every tool for measuring the curve doesn't measure physical reality as a ruler does. What do you have to say?
I mean, he's not using any tools to measure the curve. Like, they're not measuring curve with a tool. They're going to use tools to measure angles and missing objects and then deduct or conclude that cause is the curve. So they're not measuring the actual curve. That's
Gotcha.
a little misnomer.
David Velar, thanks for your question, said, for example, stupid flats believed in you. He said, for example, stupid, this must be referring, this is a little bit confusing. Says, for example, stupid flats believed in you can point in any direction, and that's south.
No, who would, I mean, because I guess he's saying if the AE circle map, right? So if you pointed north, right, you know how they have that dome. If you were pointing north and you kept going, right, your line would go south. So yeah, I but again, I don't subscribe to that particular model of Earth. So yeah, but that is an issue with that flat model. That's why I don't like it.
Gotcha. And Tim Pryor, thanks for your question, says, okay, I'll try one more time because he butchered that one. Tell him to go to the southern hemisphere and point north and then point up. Get it? Got it? Good.
Yeah, he's assuming the Earth is a ball, right? Like, you can do that stuff on a flat plane, man. If the plane was big enough, you can go to a part far away and point up, and it won't be south or north.
Next up, Anthony Chicante throws his hat into the ring again, says, just gets warm when you stutter and obfuscate. Next up, thank you, Gabriel K, for your question. Says, is space full of oxygen and nitrogen since that is all we see here? I think you are a Poe for cash.
That's me.
I think that's to you.
Think so.
He doesn't make any money on this, I don't think. Do you?
No, I'm not monetized. No, I'm not monetized. I never.
You don't have enough subs.
I wouldn't even then I wouldn't. I've said I'll never do it because then I use songs all the time and they send me like they say it's copyrighted, but they really can't do anything because I'm not monetized. So.
Gotcha. And Titanic Terrarium says, Kris, if space is fake, why fake all these rocket launches? Why not just fake one good one once per year and then fake teleportation as well?
It's a good point. I would say it's to reiterate, like when you see it going and generationally, like they have a couple every generation to, solidify the story, basically.
Gotcha.
In my opinion.
And Glober Mom, thanks for your question, said, RTH, Earth huge, people small, so locally Earth appears flat. By the way, you doxed yourself in your anti-mask video at the Goodwill store a few months back. Oh, I like Goodwill too.
Well, I'm not allowed in there anymore, so.
Next.
At least that one.
I'll give you a chance to... The first part, though, they said, Earth is huge, people are small, so locally Earth appears flat.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that would contradict what Toon said when he took a local picture and saw the curve. So there you go. Just more contradictions on the on their model. Whereas
I measured the curve, and it's curved, not.
No, you didn't. You took a picture and compressed it. That's not a measurement. That's an observation.
I did measure it. I counted the pixels.
That's counting pixels, not measuring Earth. If you think counting pixels equals measuring Earth, no, it's counting pixels. Counting pixels.
Deny evidence. That's all you got.
Area 85 Restorations, thank you for your question. Said, Kris, nice attempted dodge, but you forgot I said I work at a launch site, meaning we send things to space. My eyes can't be accused of CGI.
Yeah, but you don't see the rocket go to space. You see it like go up in the sky and go away like a plane. Right? You're not watching it go all the way up and then around Earth over and over. That's something you see.
Gotcha. Tim Pryor, pardon me, I didn't mean to interrupt you if you were still going there.
No, yeah, no, I'm done.
Tim Pryor, thanks for your question, said, but there's more evidence for Bigfoot than flat Earth. Hence why Washington made it illegal to shoot a Bigfoot if you see one.
There's actually pictures of Bigfoot. There's no pictures of flat Earth.
You presented a picture of a flat Earth with orientation. No, you compressed curve out of the lens, man.
Next, Syed Ahmad, good to see you again, said this was as entertaining as watching an internet troll get beaten by a female MMA fighter. He must like MMA.
That is entertaining. Absolutely. That was super entertaining.
So is this too.
It's on my website, mctoon.net/rth, if you want to see it.
Speaking
of...
of...
I'm part of his website. Awesome.
Next up...
Put my link in there, too.
This one is from End of the Jord, said, Super chat for taking Nathan's mod privileges away. Also, Toon had control of this entire debate. He set him up and knocked him down. GG, Kris. Now, I do want to mention... it was nothing personal against Nathan. We have rules in the chat that we are moving the standards higher. So moderators, we are asking you to really try hard to be like polite to everybody, even people that disagree with you or call you silly or whatever. By the way, if you're a flat earther, we do want to be sure that we're balanced. So if you are a flat earther and you are willing to help us eliminate any hate speech, as well as if you are willing to be kind to those in the chat, those are our standards. And so let us know, as we are willing to make you a moderator. We do want to have balance, as we do want to be a truly neutral channel. So let me know if you're a flat earther and want to become a mod. It's true, we do have a lot of globe earthers that are mods, way more than flat earthers. But I think it's just a numbers game of, we're happy to have you if you're a flat earther. Just let us know. Next, thanks for your question. This one comes in from Thy Messenger, saying, MCToon, why do you globe believers ignore the astronauts wearing wire harnesses and CGI contacts, faking space, etc.? Why is that okay with you? Laser tests prove the flat Earth. Debate Nathan Oakley. Let's see. Gotcha.
He's getting his money's worth. He's got 3 things. I've not ever seen any forensic analysis of the videos. There is, however, like hour-long, uninterrupted, uncut videos doing things that you could not do on wires. What was this? Oh, CGI. CGI, send the forensic analysis of it by a forensic expert. I have offered to Nathan Oakley to debate on my channel. He's offered to have me debate on his channel. How about on Modern Day Debate? I'll do it there. Will Nathan Oakley debate me on Modern Day Debate?
No. No, we won't.
Why won't he? We want to be fair to everybody.
I'm just calling it like I see it.
Are you not his buddy? Are you not Nathan Oakley's buddy?
Me? No.
Yeah.
No, he booted me off his show.
Is there trouble in Flat Earth Paradise?
Yeah, well, man, Flat Earth is not as homogeneous, you know, like, there's different beliefs amongst like just how, it's just different beliefs.
The funny thing is, I don't know why it was. We used to only get Flat Earthers who would reach out. They'd say, hey, I'd love to come on. We're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. They were always religious. However, recently it's like we've kind of stumbled into this other community in the Flat Earth community that is non-religious, or even, you could say quite critical or skeptical of religion or God. And so fascinating that it sounds like there's a lot of diversity within the Flat Earth community. So no matter what walk of life you're from, though, we do hope you feel welcome, folks. And this one comes in from Flunchy. Says, MCToon lost bad. He is nothing compared to his ugly identical cousin, McFlatty. My best friend McFlatty knows the truth, and our moms let us hang out. You droopy-eyed, armless child.
Yeah,
I made that last part up. Sorry.
My identical Flat Earther cousin McFlatty is quite hideously ugly. He did debate on my channel when I was in South Dakota a couple weeks ago. So if you want to be sick and watch him, you'll see it's a crayon drawing. Move on. On my website.
We love you, McFlatty. We always get in trouble. That's the biggest thing that we always have come back on us in a bad way, is when we let people talk bad about other people not here. That's cost us some serious trouble. But next up, thanks for your question. So McFlatty, you're handsome. We hope you're well. Fohammer335, thanks for your question, says, MCToon, you are under arrest. This was murder in the first degree. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Next up, thank you so much for your, let's see, I don't know if we've gotten all the questions we might have gotten. We have another one from Tim Pryor. Thanks, Tim. Says, if space is fake, then where is the Earth located? 'Cause mass takes up space.
Yeah, I just believe space is water, right? So just replace the emptiness of space with water, and we're just a air bubble in that water. And you can even think of other planets as air bubbles, right? If you want to, but that's how I see it. We're a bubble in water, so.
Gotcha. And next up, I think that's it. I do want to let our guests go because they have stayed here well beyond the time. The expected time was maybe, so we're at about that, we're about half hour over the usual hour and a half. Want to say thanks so much for your questions, folks. If you've enjoyed this video, if you didn't think it was a complete waste of your time, hit that like button. Otherwise, well, we'll try harder next time. I mean, we work really hard on this show some nights, and so we do appreciate you. This one comes in. Tim Pryor, thanks so much, says, oh my gosh, how does he still not get up is not north and south is not down?
When did I say up is north? Bro, when you look at take 3 dimensionals, going forward would be north. Going up would be up. Those are not related. I'm not saying up is north and down is south. South and north are forward and backwards directions, and up and down are elevationally changed. Okay? I don't know how much clearer.
Gotcha. And next up, Dave Gar, thanks for your super chat, said, James, the flat earth is an obvious proxy debate for what is and isn't acceptable biblical evidence. Please, more thoughts on theist versus non-theist flirfs. I am so flattered someone asked me for my opinion. I never get this. So, it is fascinating. It's wild. There are not, so I don't know what it is. So yeah, the non-religious or non-theist flat earth community, we welcome you. We've been missing you. We didn't know you were out there. And I'm curious to hear the background of it. Now, Kris, is it fair to say you're not religious? Like, for you, you believe in the flat earth and you'd say, hey, it's just, my evidence based on the reason, my reasoning based on the evidence, and it's not a religious thing. It's independently I've come to this conclusion. And that's right?
Yeah, it's not religiously inspired. It's not like, oh, I read the Bible says the earth is flat, I believe the earth is flat because that's what the Bible said. No, I looked at the earth, I make the observations, the orientation, I use the logic, that's how I came to the conclusion, and through that process, I do believe that it was created by something, it's not an old man with a beard, but there is some kind of processing entity that is manipulating this or doing things in this world to kind of keep it going.
Gotcha. And C. Pames, thanks for your question, said, the super chats will always be on the side of the globe Earth, regardless of what they actually see in reality.
Very true.
Next, Tim Pryor, thanks for your super chat, said, and if space does not exist, then how can you calculate the height, speed, and size of the ISS, International Space Station, using simple trigonometry? Sorry, Reds.
Because you can calculate anything. I could calculate right now the weight of a dragon, right? Yeah, you get a 30-foot dragon that has 655 cubic feet of flesh and bone. You just start doing calculations. You'll get the weight. Doesn't make it real.
Yeah, it's about testing a hypothesis.
Yeah, testing a guess.
Gotcha. And now, by the way, I'm curious, would people enjoy this? This is an idea that I was talking with a person the other day in the chat. It seems like people are curious. Would people enjoy a framing of a debate where it was explicitly, we purposely went for a Christian glober defending the globe model versus a flat earth atheist defending the flat earth? So, or the flat model. What are your thoughts, folks? Let us know in the live chat if you think that'd be hot. Otherwise, we'll consider it. So, Titanic Terrarium, thanks for your super chat, said, Kris, when an ocean liner makes a transatlantic passage, where does the globe delusion start and finish? Is it the ship's instruments, the captain, etc.?
They would be traveling by an object orientated over their head always. That's flat plane.
Gotcha. And Melanie Moran says, you have the worst mods ever on this channel. Well, I do want to defend. I mean, not all of our... Could be true that not all of our mods are worth defending. But I do want to defend the mods. At least unless they've gone rogue. If anyone went rogue tonight, then I promise the hammer will be brought down swiftly and severely. However, I do want to say they're allowed to have their own opinion. So, I mean, if they're like, oh, man, it's so obvious the globe is true or the flat earth is true, whatever. That's fair game. We want them to be able to still express themselves. That's kind of fun in the chat. It's not just moderating that they're doing. Their only jobs is just that we ask them to eliminate any sort of hate speech. And we also... And if people are getting abusive, we'll eliminate that. But we ask that they be friendly to everybody. So if you're a flat earther and you want to be a mod, let us know. We're totally open to that. So I haven't had anybody take up my my offer. Melanie Moran is gosh, nasty, such a nasty lady. Okay, thank you for your question. Area 85 Restoration says, Kris, people have to design, build, and test and monitor and control that rocket while in flight. My coworkers and I are those people. Sorry, dude, there is no way to worm your way out of this.
You're sitting in an office watching a keyboard and monitor. You're not proving the Earth's shape. You're playing free cell.
Next up, this one comes in, and we've got good feedback. A lot of people are saying they would dig a debate. They said that would be wonderful. That would be interesting. Actually have a flat earther, thanks Requiem for a Dream, says, have a flat earther that tries to defend a model and present evidence to support that rather than attempt to deny everything and claim victory. All right.
That'd be novel.
My model's orientation. You don't want to, you deny it. So what more can I do?
Gotcha. YouTube, thanks for your love in the chat. Fohammer335 says, MCToon is a religious person if I'm not mistaken. So perhaps we would have MCToon in that debate if we do have that framing of the flat earth debate in the future. So let's see. Oh yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. Shag the Poker. You're right that I don't have Kris's link in the description yet, and that's no slight to Kris. It's his first time, and I told him at the very start of the channel or debate, I said, shoot me a link of your email. I'll put it in there. So I will put that in there, whether it be like right now or within a few minutes of the debate. So let me know. And I will definitely put it in there because I definitely agree. I do want to be sure we do that. So next, this one comes in from LV23, who says, Team Skeptic versus Wotan, Part 2, bring back the passion. That was a passionate one. You know, you remind me, Kris. Do you know who Wotan is?
No.
You remind me of him. Are you from the Northeast?
Yeah. New York.
Okay.
I moved down.
That's okay.
Had to get away from the weather.
That's what made me think of Wotan and your passion. And this one comes from D6. Good to see you again, D6. Says, when will best flatheads mathematians produce coherent model of reality explaining day and night and reasons?
Explain is a story, right? He explains it as the earth moving. I explain it as the sun moving. You want explanation? Start right there. Which one do you accept?
Gotcha. And very excited, just added Flat Earther Tyler432 as a new moderator. And I'm serious, folks. The trick is, I know some people get triggered when we add moderators that are opposite of their own view. So they're like, oh, it's like an atheist moderator. Or as a Christian moderator or Flat Earther or Glober. Is like, you know, everybody talks about like, hey, you know, we're tolerant, right? You know, we're accepting of others. But it's like, that's the trick. We have to do that and follow through with it. Even the hard thing of having moderators that might take views that totally disagree with our views. And by our views, I just mean whatever your respective view is. And so I think that's the true kind of like truest form of tolerance is we're like, yeah, it's a non-partisan channel. So we got everybody. And let me just check to see if there are any last questions. So yeah, want to say thanks so much, folks. We really do hope you feel welcome. We hope you have a great rest of your weekend, folks. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. As I mentioned, we'll be back tomorrow night. Bottom right of your screen, Richard Carrier will be taking on CJ Cox on The Resurrection. And then, yet again, we will be back Sunday night. Bottom right of your screen as well. That should be a doozy with our friends T-Jump and Conspiracy Castle, or Alex. So that should be a lot of fun as well. With that, keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. Quick reminder, MCToon and Kris. I put their links in the description. Kris is soon coming, just a few minutes. And want to let you know, folks.
Oh, thank you very much.
You bet. Take care. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable, everybody. We hope you have a great rest of your night. Ladies and gentlemen, I missed a couple of these super chats. Forgive me. General Ballsack, thank you for yours. Said all the mods trigger me. And Tim Pryor said, so when, or so then, why would you think people are upside down? Sorry, guys, that I didn't even see those before we had to wrap up. So let me know, and I can read that. I can basically read a normal chat and a future debate as a super chat, as we do really want to honor your super chats. We appreciate that support. We're excited about the future as we take bigger, newer steps, whether it be tech upgrades as well as bigger events, things like in person. We are considering a huge event in January that would be absolutely epic. Brand new speaker we've never had, who's relatively famous, like New York Times bestseller, and like famous for a lot of different reasons. So folks, thanks so much. We do want to honor that. We appreciate all of your support. And then let's see. Yeah, General Ballsack, thanks for yours. Still, I see you, man. I'm like, I love hanging out with you guys, so I hate leaving. Like, but both the speakers had to go fast, so I'm like pumped to be back and say, yes, this is a secret after credits scene. Let me give you some of the juicy details. This is just in the talks. We were kind of starting to promote it. We are in talks with Jonathan Sheffield and Bart Ehrman about a possible debate. It's not confirmed yet. It's not in stone. However, it is basically on the reliability of the Bible. Should be really fun. That is in the works for November. We think it's going to happen. It's like, looks like Dr. Ehrman is pretty open to it. We are also excited as we are working on, I just thought of a new opponent that we're going to try to have with Dr. Let's see. I can't remember the name, but basically we've thought of a new person that hopefully we'll be able to debate with Matt Dillahunty in October. Not confirmed. That's just a possibility. Nobody's confirmed. I made a mistake earlier this week where I said that I assumed that everything would go according to plan, and then it just didn't. So, yes, but want to say, I will be with you soon. There's another debate that, yes, we are considering it in January. It's going to take a lot of effort to pull off. We will give you updates. I have to use a code word for it. It's like the debate of all debates we've ever hosted. It will be big. We are hoping that we can pull it off. And so with that, I got to run, folks, because my other computer that I actually read the chat on died. So very embarrassing. But thanks so much again for your support, folks. We really appreciate you. We hope you have a great rest of your night, and we will hopefully see you tomorrow for that debate with Richard Carrier, which should be a blast. And then, as mentioned, that one on the bottom right of your screen that you're seeing now will be on Sunday night. And then we've got debates. We've got a debate every single night for the next what is it? I think it's for the next week, and they're awesome. So I'm pumped. And so we hope that's a lot of fun for you. Take care. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable, folks. And we will hopefully see you tomorrow.